Hey everyone, I actually never thought I would be making a video titled like this with some serious rumors and speculation behind it. I'm going to answer, or try my best to answer, could Halo Wars 1 or 2, fill in the blank, whichever Halo Wars game, could it actually come to PlayStation consoles or Nintendo consoles? With all of the rumors and speculations and articles that have been coming out over the weekend regarding Xbox's future as a platform and where they publish their games, I think now is a good time to make a video of my thoughts around this entire situation. And again, would or could Halo Wars come to competitors' consoles or ecosystems? This, again, is going to be filled with what I'm basing on current rumors, speculation, articles, and I guess if you want to say quote unquote leaks, could mention that as well. I do think the writing has been on the wall. Where there's smoke, there's fire, whatever analogy you want to insert here regarding Xbox's strategy. And this is largely an opinion piece, so you may disagree with this, and that's okay. I think there's a lot of console warring going on Twitter, and I want to try and take an approach where I don't really have an opinion on the console itself, but rather the business case as to why or why not this could happen. So let's dive into the question. Is Xbox, why are they allegedly doing this? And by this, if you haven't seen the news on Twitter, there have been a lot of reported articles from various sources reporting on different games that were either previously exclusive to Xbox or are still exclusive to Xbox that would be coming to PlayStation and Nintendo consoles. On this list are rumored things like Starfield, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Doom, Year Zero, and other games. I even saw speculation today of Gears of War and Halo, allegedly maybe even their entire future catalog, some sort of timed exclusive on Xbox. After a certain period of time, they launch on PlayStation or Nintendo. I would take it largely as is what we see now at PlayStation. There's a certain amount of time before it goes from the PS5 console to PC. So why is Xbox doing this? Well, I think, again, I don't have any firm numbers here, but I just think the way that this is laid out is Game Pass is not profitable. Xbox continues to make acquisitions of studios, and as of late, publishers. They've now purchased two publishers with Bethesda and Activision Blizzard, and they have not really increased the price of Game Pass. And I think if you increase your costs and you don't increase the price of that, while you're not gaining a ton of Game Pass subscribers, it's going to not be profitable. It might be profitable. I don't actually know. I don't know if they've even announced if it is or isn't. I just think the way that they've been acquiring studios and releasing games, we've not seen these sort of numbers. I think if Game Pass was insanely profitable and they were gaining subs at an incredible rate, they would announce that, yes, Game Pass has, 40 million subs or something. But I've not seen that. And again, I could be wrong there. I think Game Pass encourages you not to buy your games, especially the, quote, first-party Xbox games, the games made by Xbox and the studios or publishers that they own. And that can further erode the revenue incoming to Xbox as a business. They also more or less, maybe less, encourages you not to buy the hardware. I think that's a little bit of a stretch there, but you can play Xbox on many screens, on a PC, through the cloud, through your television. You don't even need the Xbox console and your mobile phone. And then we had seen that there were rumors of just an Xbox cloud device, almost like a Fire Stick, where it just streamed Xbox. It wasn't actually Xbox natively running there as well. That hasn't been officially announced, I don't think, but that is a rumored device. We've also seen a mixed, I think a confused fan base, given the history of where Xbox is publishing their games. So they've previously published some of their games on other platforms. That includes Ori Collection, Minecraft, and Cuphead. They're all on the Switch. And some of those are even available on PlayStation, like Cuphead. They also did honor some of the timed exclusives Bethesda had on PS5 at launch with Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. That was during the acquisition of Bethesda. And they made a concession during the Activision acquisition that Call of Duty would come to PlayStation for at least 10 years and Nintendo as well. You also see continued launch and support of games like Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, and the Activision Blizzard games on other hardware, whether that's PC or PlayStation. And again, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just an observation on why I think a fan base could be confused. And probably some of their studios internally are confused why some of their games are exclusive, but other studios' games are not. And I can see how maybe that can lead to some sort of frustration as well internally. Microsoft also needs to justify the cost of spending, to my math, almost $80 billion on their studios. Activision Blizzard was almost $70 billion, and I think Bethesda was somewhere in the neighborhood of 7 to 7.5, plus their other studios they acquired, like Obsidian, and some of their other studios that they've acquired over time, Ninja Theory, so on and so forth. I bet you it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of close to $80 billion. They need to justify that cost if Game Pass is not solving it. Also saw some reports and rumors that stores in Europe are no longer stocking Xbox games in various locations because they're just not selling. And allegedly as well, teams dedicated to making sure that physical Xbox games were fulfilled were laid off recently during the round of layoffs Xbox had a few weeks ago. So here's, I guess, changing gears a little bit into various solutions. If Xbox goes full third party, meaning no more console, pulling a Sega or Atari, if you will, or being a third party with an Xbox console, I can kind of see the math on how they can recoup their cost. Xbox has said in the past, either through Phil Spencer or others, that they lost the most important generation, the Xbox One, and great games aren't going to recoup the sales that are lost in consoles because a lot of people have made their decision with their platform due to them growing digital libraries. And you can almost make it a value proposition to a potential customer if you go full third party. You could either buy the latest, quote, Xbox game on PlayStation or Nintendo at $70, or you could get it, quote unquote, free with Game Pass if you stick to our platform. And, no matter which way you want to go, whether you're a recurring customer on Game Pass or you buy the full $70, Microsoft is going to hopefully get more revenue by making that acquisition, by putting their products in front of more people. Hopefully that means more sales. They've also said in various points in time that they don't really see PlayStation or Nintendo as traditional competitors, and instead they see more of streaming competitors like Stadia, RMP, in peace, and Netflix as their competitors in the gaming space in the future. And I also think maybe there's some sort of legal play here. If they ship everything everywhere, they may be able to reduce antitrust litigations on future acquisitions. That was one of the big points in the purchase of Activision Blizzard. We saw that court battle play out online. And if you want my take, I always think that competition is good for consumers. More competition means that consumers usually always win. And it will allow Xbox to continue to make games by getting, again, additional revenue. There is one downside to this whole thing that I do want to make clear. I want to make sure I'm not overwhelmingly taking one side or the other, but I think you're going to burn a lot of goodwill and good trust with loyal Xbox fans that they've built over a very long period of time. And I also think that if you were to ship your games on competing platforms, whether that's day one or after a timed window of some sort, maybe a year or 2 years, whatever, that they start shipping on other platforms, it erodes the benefit of owning a Xbox console with the exception of Game Pass. Because if you have an Xbox, not only are you seeing your exclusives that you would like to see on your platform go to other platforms, but you also miss out on PlayStation exclusives that don't make their way over to Xbox. the things like your God of Wars and your Spider-Mans and your Ghost of Tsushimas and so on and so forth. You're not getting that on Xbox, yet people on PlayStation or Nintendo get to enjoy the games that were originally designed for your platform as well. I can kind of see how that's very frustrating as an Xbox owner. So let's get all the way back to Halo Wars at the very beginning of this video. Could Halo Wars 1 or Halo Wars 2 come to competing platforms? I'd say maybe, but probably doubtful. I mean, Halo Wars 2 doesn't even work on Xbox most of the time. It crashes so frequently. So why would it work on PlayStation 5? You know what I mean? I saw along these rumors that Halo Infinite is on the list of games that they were considering bringing to PS5, and there were previous reports way back almost a decade ago that 343 and Microsoft had considered bringing Master Chief Collection to PS4 back in the day. So I think they are toying with the idea of bringing some of the most important IPs over to competing platforms. But I think they're going to start small here, kind of test the waters. I think that's why Hi-Fi Rush is probably a great example of this. A game that probably isn't going to be moving Xbox consoles to begin with. So let's just see how that works. Or maybe a live service game from, 7 years ago in Sea of Thieves. Let's see how that does on other platforms. I think as long as they make sure that the value proposition is still there for their core fan base, I think they could probably navigate this in quite a way where they have to balance not upsetting their loyal customers, which seems like they've already done, and not upsetting their developers by saying some can ship on competing platforms and other can't. So I think there is a balance there, because I think if developers get too frustrated, they might just leave and go to another team where they have the freedom to express their games and ship on whatever platforms they want. I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate too much on that. But nonetheless, do I think Halo Wars is coming to competing platforms? I don't think so. But we're going to have to wait and see nonetheless. I think crazier things have happened. This is certainly one of them. Xbox coming to other platforms, or the end of an Xbox as a console. I'm interested to see how this plays out. Nonetheless, I pass the question on to you. Do you think Xbox is going full third party? Are all of these rumors and speculation nothing but smoke and mirrors? Is everything fine and we're just overreacting? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Before you comment, I have seen on Twitter quite a lot, and I want to reiterate here, let's be respectful of one another in the comments section. I think someone deciding to be an Xbox platform holder or a PlayStation platform holder is entirely personal preference. And if that's what you get your enjoyment out of, then that's really all that matters. So let's be mindful of that. All right. Thank you all so much for watching, everybody. And I'll see you, James.